Hi, my name is Jennifer. I will be cooking today for you guys. This will be my first video ever, and what I have is a little bit interesting. I will be making burnt ends with deer meat for the very first time, and my binding agent is unlike anything I've ever seen. So be patient with me and join me on this because I feel like this could be fun. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? Today our binding agents are twofold. We have here peach mustard, and then we'll also be mixing that with a little bit of regular mustard to thicken the agent. And then, while we do that and have that set, my oven just got ready. We'll set it at 200 degrees. You don't need a grill or a smoker to create great barbecue. Of course, you know, the charred flavor helps, but that's what we have liquid smoke for. We have our liquid smoke. I love hickory, so that's what we'll use. We have our deer meat cut up by my wonderful husband, 731 Catfishing. Key point of dealing with your meat, any meat, make sure it is dry. Just take some paper towels, pat it dry, get any of water, you know, just meat juices off of there. Make sure it's good and dry before you add any sauces, seasonings, what have you. It helps it adhere better. Seems like an oxymoron, but really, it's not. Some fun information about me is I taught myself how to cook. I was a peculiar teenager, like any teenager is, really. And instead of just scrolling, because we didn't have phones really back then, I'm that old, we had books, and I had access to my grandmother's massive library of cookbooks and how-to cookbooks. And I would spend hours reading those instead of just going outside. I was always kind of a homebody. And don't be afraid to get your hands in there and get your hands dirty. Now let's get rid of this. Now I don't really do a whole lot of measuring. I measure with the heart. That's the way to go. Or at least that's how it's always worked for me. Use maybe about a teaspoon and a half of your liquid smoke, depending on how much meat you have. Adjust accordingly. Your binding agents, you want a good amount. I'm going to use about 3 to 4 tablespoons of the peach mustard. And this peach mustard is so good. We tried it out with just some chicken tenders I fried up. And it's like, it's got this, I can't even explain it. The flavor it has is just, wow. Met those guys at an expo me and my husband went to in Memphis, Twisted Cats Expo, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I talked to some amazing men, Chris Sapp and Bobby Doss, with, I don't want to get their name wrong, Harvest Gourmet. Great guys. They had me try all kinds of stuff. I'm not a spicy person, or used to not be. Well, I talked to these gentlemen for a good long while. We got to talking, and you know, I tried that mustard. It's just something about it. So I got to thinking, like, what would that be good with? Then it come to me, burnt ends. You use mustard as your binder before you put on your barbecue sauce. Get it nice and mixed up. Now we got a prepared pan here. to put that in. You want to pour that out onto your prepared pan. You can smell that. And I'm going to add just a little bit more drizzled over top. It's not going to remain pretty, so there ain't no reason to make it pretty. Now we're going to cover this tin foil and put it in the oven at 200 degrees for 4 hours. And then when we come back after that 4 hours is done, we're also going to put together twice baked potatoes made with sweet potatoes instead of regular rustic potatoes. That could be interesting. Be back shortly. Hi everyone, welcome back to this half of the video. I've already rinsed off my potatoes and got them ready. Make sure to rinse your potatoes. They may look clean, there's always dirt somewhere. What we're doing now for our twice baked potatoes is we're going to fork them to create aeration holes. Keeps them from popping in the oven. You want to fork them nice and good. These are just rustic. One person in our home does not like sweet potatoes, so we're going to do a couple of rustic potatoes for that person. Check for any bad spots in your potatoes while you do this. And then you see your sweet potatoes. You might have a couple spots on them. Like this one's got a little knob. Just cut it off. Just like that. A lot of people don't know this, but you can eat the skin of a sweet potato. Not many people do eat the skin because they don't like the texture or whatever, or flavor. If you season your skins, they might change their mind on that. And that's what we're going to do after we get done forking all these. We're going to season our skins and cover them in olive oil. This one has a couple of spots that are unattractive, but it's still edible. Again, doesn't have to be pretty. If you're feeding your family, it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as you're feeding them. Now, sweet potatoes cook a whole lot slower than rustics do. So, everything I had found states that you should cook your sweet potatoes for 45 minutes to an hour and a half. You could do that. Just check them. Once they're fork tender, then you're ready for the next part. Your rustics might get there sooner, and that's fine. Just transfer them to a different cookie sheet or pan than original. Just cook them like that. Just drizzling olive oil all over each potato, and I'm going to rub them around. Use your hands. Use your hands. Can you be my hands off camera?
Hmm?
I need you just to sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle.
Good.
No pepper. Just pepper the crap out of all of them. I'm gonna go wash my hands. Now that that part is done, they're all sea salt and peppered on the outside and oiled. That'll create a nice crispy skin for the whole thing. And that way they'll want to eat the skin, and even your youngins will want to eat the skin too. Let's get these in the oven at 375 for 45 minutes to an hour and a half. See you then. All right, here we have the potatoes are finished cooking, and we need to cut the tops off of the potatoes and sweet potatoes to get the insides to cool off just a little bit faster before we can scoop them out. The key is to have them cool enough to touch, but not cold, because you still want them a little warm to incorporate the new ingredients into them, such as your sour cream and your cheese and your butter, because you want it to melt and incorporate. When one way isn't working, switch to a different way. Like I said, I have somebody in the home that does not like sweet potatoes, so I'm going to get a paper towel and wipe off the sweet potatoes flesh. Then I'll split these open like a regular baked potato. When it comes time to scoop out the centers, and I'll scoop the center out, leaving an inch or two on the sides for stability, and then restuff them. All right, and now we wait until they're cool enough to touch. All right, we're back now that the potatoes have cooled enough to be able to scoop the insides out. Like I said, you want to keep just enough on the sides to keep it firm, to where it keeps its shape. Doesn't matter if they're thinner in some places, because if you do the insides right, it'll add a little bit of structure to the potatoes. You got your butter. Like I said, no real measuring here. I'm using about 2.5 tablespoons. I'm using Rodeo Rider seasoning. It is a really good all-purpose seasoning by the Harvest Gourmet, and they are in Cookeville, Tennessee. About 2 tablespoons of sour cream as well. I don't know about y'all, but I like my twice baked potatoes still to be a little bit chunky. About a cup of, I'm using a 3 cheddar blend. So white cheddar, sharp cheddar, and regular old cheddar. About 2 to 3 teaspoons of any seasoning of your choice. And now I'm going to put it in a piping bag, or I'm going to use a handy dandy Ziploc. If you have piping bags, more power to you. But a Ziploc where you cut the tip off works just as good. Don't be like me. Close your Ziploc. Refill up your potato shells. Now that those are stuffed, we'll work on the russet after I wash my hands. Same thing like we did with the sweet potatoes. A couple tablespoons of butter. Couple tablespoons of your favorite sour cream. Just however much you feel it needs. Then about a little more than half a cup of cheese. Really, again, however much you feel you want in here. Then our rodeo seasoning. Couple teaspoons, tablespoon, however you want to do it. You could add chives, bacon bits, whatever you want to these. Own personal preference is how this works. Nobody's wrong, nobody's right. All right, now we put these back in the oven. We can choose to put more cheese on top. I want to see what they do first before I decide that. So we're gonna put them back in the oven at 375 for 5 to 10 minutes. The deer meat I've already prepped to get ready to go under the broiler. It has Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce all over it. Honey barbecue sauce. And we'll pop this in with the potatoes and give this a nice good cook directly under the heat source so it gets it nice and caramelized. See you back here in 25 minutes. All right, dinner is done. We have twice baked potatoes with sweet potatoes and russet potatoes. And then we have deer meat burnt ends. Now we're going to make my husband come try these.
What now?
Yes.
Oh, jeez. I like that.
You like that?
Yeah.
Is the peach coming through?
Very little. But it is.
It's good. Try one of those.
That's gonna suck.
It's gonna be hot.
I like that.
You like it like that?
Yeah. It's a little on the hot side, but the flavor's there.
See here first. I like it.
I like it.
So that'll be all for us tonight. We're gonna sit down and we're gonna enjoy dinner as a family. And we'll come back with more great dinner ideas. And remember, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to taste good. Thank you very much for coming to my channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye.